You are tuned to ARP on the Accelerated Radio Network. It's 12 noon, and it's time to have lunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now here's your host, Miss Charline.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Miss Charline, and welcome to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Today we have in our studio Miss Ari Gold, and she's a money stylist. Hi, Ari.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You're one of our favorites, and so we made you promise to come back and see us again, and so I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
And since the last time we were here talking, we've made some changes to the show, and I've added a couple of co-hosts, and I got tired of them handing me little questions on a piece of paper, and I have to figure out how to ask those questions without looking like I'm looking at a little piece of paper. So we decided to have them join us, right, on the show, and then they get to ask their questions or be part of the conversation too. And it helps, you know, with the demographics that we are trying to reach, because young people have questions and they want the answers. And so here we are. So Elizabeth, how are you today?
I'm doing lovely. How are you?
I'm fine. That's Miss Elizabeth Ferris. And then we also have Nathan Finch. Hi, Nathan. Hi. And today's topic is going to be, we're kind of just going to answer questions that we generally have been talking about and asking, and we've had other guests on, and but we want to know from a financial aspect what we should do. Is that good?
Absolutely.
That's good. So tell us a little bit about yourself for my guests who don't know you.
Well, my name is Ari Gold, and I am the money stylist, and my website is themoneystylist.com. I'm a personal finance coach, so I am the person that people go to when they are stuck in a financial situation that they can't seem to get out of, whether it's can't seem to save, not quite sure where their money goes every month, wanting to make changes in their life potentially to get prepared for retirement, to be able to afford health care or health insurance. So we address all of these issues. We go through and we look at their finances, and we make some suggestions, and we get them on a plan. So that's what I do, is I style a plan for each of my clients individually.
That's great. You know, and you mentioned healthcare, so let's start there. You know, we have a lot of challenges with healthcare, as far as people being able to afford it, and if emergencies come up, and with the healthcare industry rising in prices, like we all know, what do you advise our listeners on how to combat that, or what should they do?
Well, the first thing people should be aware of is that it by law you are required to have health insurance. Yes. And the fee for not having health insurance this past year was very low, but they are planning on raising this fee to be equal to, if not more than, what the cost of your health care is. So when that happens, you're better off, even though it's expensive, you're better off paying for the health care, because why pay the IRS a fee when you get nothing for it? At least you can use that money towards health coverage that you could potentially use in emergency situations.
Right.
Health insurance is very expensive. We know that. Hopefully, you are working in some sort of job that either pays partially into your health insurance, or gives you a COBRA plan, or something that or a health savings account, also called a HSA. So the first thing I would tell people is ask your employer what is available to you. And know what it covers, because oftentimes I have clients who love a doctor, and they will pay out of pocket to go to that doctor, but they haven't even looked to see if there's a doctor that they might like that's in their network with their health insurance through work, or to even see if their doctor is covered by that. They're just so in the routine. So if finances are a concern, it might be worthwhile to investigate whether you can have a general practitioner that's covered by your health insurance that you go to for, coughs and colds and that kind of, thing. So take advantage of whatever your employer is offering, and know what you're being offered before you go out on your own. That will definitely help save some money.
Okay, Nathan, I know you have a question, because I can feel the question coming. I wasn't even looking at him, and I could feel it. So.
What about self-employed people? Because right now I am in a happy place with the health insurance thing. but I'm self-employed. I have, my own business and have a few different ventures going on and stuff. And it was really confusing for me when legislation was passed that you had to have health insurance.
Yeah.
And for the first 6 months or so, my monthly premium was I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Period. Like I didn't pay it several months. And like I put it on a credit card at one point and I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And so I went back at one point and talked to one of the agents, or I don't know who I talked to, but I talked to someone in the health insurance industry and was like, and told them like, I literally cannot afford this premium. And they asked me some more questions and asked me about my monthly income. And I said, well, my monthly income really depends.
Yeah.
And so basically what they did, and I don't know if this is still the case that they can still do this, but she was like, well, what's the lowest that you make? And she's like, we're going to put that down as your monthly income. And so now it's like, it's totally doable. I have no issue. But I guess that to say, like, I know that that's not going to be the case forever for me. I know that my premium is eventually going to go up as my income rises and my low bar goes up. So I guess at that point I will be able to afford more, but
Also, what I would say to you is when you guys are looking for plans, depending on how old you are, if you're in your 20s and you don't get sick very often and you really just need coverage for, hospital, breaking something, breaking an arm, breaking a leg, really emergency situations, you can definitely get a plan that has a much higher deductible. And so it's just emergency coverage, which brings your premium way down. However, if you are, older, let's say you're in your 50s, that same plan that might be $150 a month in your 20s is probably going to run you $300 to $400 a month. So you really just need to structure, number one, you need to structure whatever type of coverage you are getting based on, your health. Are you a healthy person? And if you are an unhealthy person and might have to go to the doctor a lot, this insurance is going to be, it's going to be a priority. So you're going to want to prioritize that payment above eating out, above, any entertainment that you do. You're going to have to say, okay, I value my health. I value staying healthy. I value, making sure that I continue to breathe above the clothes that I want to buy, the dinners that I want to eat out. So we have to remember that, yes, health insurance is expensive, but it is also in place to make sure that should something happen, that you don't lose everything you've worked so hard for. There are people who end up getting cancer and then go bankrupt because of it, because the health insurance, it's not there. So health insurance it's insurance. It is. It's insuring to make sure that, you are covered in certain situations, whatever you're paying for. So definitely analyze your own health situation. And let's say you do find a plan and you're like, okay, I'm healthy, I can afford this plan, but I do get sick twice a year, and I know that this plan is not necessarily going to cover that. You can kind of be like, okay, I'm going to need $300 this year because I get sick twice and I need to see the doctor and the copay, and start saving, $25 a month in addition to your insurance payment, so that when you have to pay that copay, it's there. So let's say you build into your budget $200 a month for health expenses. $150 goes to health insurance, a little bit goes into, buying prescriptions or over-the-counter medicines, and a little bit goes into just a general health savings fund. Just in case, specifically for health, and if you don't use it, fantastic. Let it roll over to next year. You just want to have a little something put aside for, depending on what your insurance plan is. If you have a full coverage insurance plan, you're fine. Yeah. But if you are one of those people who has, a high deductible, or, my copay is $100 every time I go to the doctor, you're going to want to make sure that you have a little put aside, because if you are having a hard time paying your insurance premium every month, what's going to happen when you have to pay your insurance premium plus the $100 copay? Exactly. That's going to feel really tight.
And that was my problem. I wasn't even going to the doctor at all during that period, and I would need to sit down with someone like you, I guess, to figure out that budget and that sweet spot of how much extra a month I should be putting aside, because I'm not unhealthy, but
Yeah.
I am on
Yeah.
medications that I have to be on.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I ask my clients is beside, like, how many times do you go to the doctor a year? Like, how many times, and everybody knows, I
Right.
personally get really sick about twice a year, really sick. And I know that, okay, about twice a year, I'm going to want to go see a doctor. And so I know because I've looked at my insurance paperwork, I know what my copays are. I know about how much it's going to cost if I have to get a Z-Pack or whatnot. So I know that, okay, throughout the year, I'm probably going to have about $300 in additional health expenses above and beyond my premiums.
Yeah.
So I go, okay, 300 over the course of 12 months, no problem. I'm going to save about $30 a month and just, call it a day.
Right. And that way you have it.
I have it. I'm not going, oh my God, this month I have to pay my insurance plus my, plus my copays and all that. So, I break it up so it's not so horrible. It doesn't feel so bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That makes
So,
it feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Right?
Because my biggest concern has been the when my premium is going to go up and I am going to have to pay more for my copay and everything because I see the doctor like 10 times a year, and so it'll be, if I don't have a plan, it'll be
And
disaster.
the great thing
Right.
about a lot of banks these days is that they are offering, I know that, the bank that I do business with is offering sub savings accounts. So you have a master savings account, but you can have, a lot of them do it where you can have savings accounts within your savings account. So you can you could, it's fantastic. So like, let's say you're saving for a vacation, let's say you're saving for your health every month, and you can have, within your master savings, you can have, one that's vacation, one that's health. And every time you get a paycheck, you just pop in $10 to each of these accounts, and that way you're saving, but you can actually, what you're saving
It's
for.
designated saving.
And it's much easier to save
Yes.
when there's a vision and a goal. If you're
That's
just
right.
saving to save, it's like, well, I'd rather buy this
It's not
jeans,
gonna
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
But if you're saving because okay, I'm saving specifically for my doctor's appointment, I'm saving specifically for this trip I want to take, and I'm saving specifically for car repairs. So if you designate sub savings accounts with it, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you happen to know, does Bank of America do that?
You know what? I am not sure, but it seems like something that they would offer because they're pretty up on. I mean, and the bank that I use is a credit union, and if the credit union is doing it, probably Bank of America.
Probably
is
so.
doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they're not, I'll just.
But you know what? For the listeners, they can try their bank first
Yeah.
and then figure out from there, because that's the beauty of having different types of banks is that you're not stuck with a bank that you bank with. You might feel comfortable there, but if they have something somewhere else that suits your needs better, go there, right?
Absolutely. Like there's online banking accounts. If you
Right.
go to you find out which bank is offering, there's Barclays online, there's Capital One online, and
Right.
and that for some people is even better because it takes 2 days to, when you transfer money, it takes a couple days to get there,
Right.
but when it comes back, it also takes a couple days. So it keeps there's a little distance.
distance
There's not
there.
as much of a the impulse to be like, oh, I'm just gonna borrow
I
from
have
my
my savings
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm
Because-
like, I know that I'm just going to be like, oh, I can wait 2 days.
And what I do tell my clients is do not carry the debit card. That is not one that goes in your wallet. That's one that goes in the drawer for emergencies, but there's less of an impulse because a lot of people will borrow from their savings. And when you borrow
Yes.
from your savings,
You don't put it back.
Put it
No.
back.
With phones and apps, you transfer the money from your savings to your account, and then you just all of a sudden immediately you have the money.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So if you are doing one of these savings accounts and you have a tendency to borrow, I would say do not put the app on your phone. And do not keep the card in your wallet. These are your accounts that you want to actually think about before you pull the money out, and so that when you do go on vacation, the money's there. When you do go to the doctor, the money is there for you, and then you can pull that money and be like, I went to the doctor, transferring that money in to pay that bill when it comes.
Exactly.
That is-
Because
that is so opposite of what I'm doing. Sorry,
Right.
I literally have my debit card on the back of my phone. So like, I just carry this. And I have my life with me.
But however, if that's your everyday debit card, absolutely